What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kick Your Knowledge. Today, I'll be giving my astrological perspective on the coronavirus pandemic. So, let's get into it. Now, for the last few weeks, things with the coronavirus have gotten really heightened, and we're all in quarantine, okay? Our routines are all out of whack. And during this time, I've just really taken the time to really reflect and seek the deeper meaning behind this. And with us coming off of the transit of Jupiter in Sagittarius last year, we realized that everybody within their own lives was seeking some level of truth. And seeking to put that truth into action. And one thing I've always been aware of is that there are various different truths. Hence religion. Hence Vedic and Western astrology, right? It's just the nature of life. But with that, there are things along the spiritual journey that sometimes you're just not going to be able to fully explain them in logical terms. Hence where we have that term, the knowing. You may not know how you know what you know, but you just know it. Okay? So then when there are people out there who are seeking truth, and when they find others out there who resonate with that truth or that inner knowing that they have that reciprocate that, they really gravitate towards that person. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I would say in this time, I'll talk about it a little bit more in the video, is at this time, let your truth be your truth, but don't force your truth on anybody else or belittle their truth. Compassion is going to be key. I'm going to revisit that a little bit down in the video. So, as we talk about this, I'm just from the school of thought and understanding that even the most gifted clairvoyant, psychic, whatever you want to call it, doesn't actually know. They just know what they know. Okay? So I want to start this by really just saying no one really has the answers. We can learn a lot about human nature and our role here in life by observing different perspectives and being open to those different perspectives. You resonate with your own particular truth, but this is Virgo energy, always being aware that there may be flaws within your own truth. And Sagittarius talks about being, flexible towards that. And then Pisces talks about seeing the bigger picture, the oneness of that particular truth. But anyway, getting to this coronavirus pandemic, I want you to first understand that the energies and movements of the planets they get manifested into physical events here. So the planets and their movements are like themes, and they manifest in 3D reality as events that allow the themes to be played out and therefore understood. So I'm not here to say a particular transit has brought upon a particular virus, but more so look towards the understanding of what we can take from the events, where it's pushing us towards. So I want to start with the the Pluto and Saturn conjunction within the sign of Capricorn. And the beautiful thing about his astrology is that we track cycles. And from 1918 to 1968 to now, there have been 3 different pandemics involving a particular type of a sickness, okay? Now, we apply it towards the Capricorn aspect of it occurring here. And any astrologer who's been talking about this transit of Pluto and Saturn will tell you that systems of power, those in power, structures are going to undergo a transformation. There's a doing away with the old to force a new, which ultimately will be Aquarius, right? A rebellion, a reformation of some sort. So when we look at this, we see on a global sphere, big business as a whole, everything that is Capricorn, the structure that keeps society, afloat, has been exposed. The weaknesses, the lack of foundation, opposite Cancer, right? The foundation of these systems are weak, or in another sense, they're outdated. So part of the reason this is going on is this is how this has manifested. We've foreseen old structures breaking down, but this is part of how. We are now seeing that the people who were affected first and foremost, the real workers, the hourly people, the people living paycheck to paycheck, are actually the driving force of this system. And if you eliminate them, and to some extent they are the foundation, so take them away and the system starts to crumble. Now, the thing about it is that those at the top are affected because, yeah, they may have the resources to stay afloat, but at their core desire is for more power, is for more finances and things. They want to keep the old system going. So, not to combat anyone's view, but those of you who believe, this is, the government has done this and, they're behind it. Listen, I'm not here to tell you whatever. I'm just letting you know that they are just as affected. They are learning. We're all learning something here. Okay? They're just as affected. So, in one regard, this is that transit playing out in the sense of things needing to be reformed. Saturn came, did his thing in Capricorn, and is now going into Aquarius. And wherever Saturn goes, Saturn reconstructs. Saturn gets things into order. So now being in the sign of Aquarius, Saturn will be coming to restructure group systems. Okay? It's going to force us to come together in a more unified way, which, as we look back into Capricorn, is the restructuring of the old and creating something new. So this is where I'm here to let you know, let's not panic. I foresee, more structure, better things coming into place, but it's going to require an active approach towards letting go of the old. We can't allow those who are holding on to the old, we can't allow them to do so. So if you've been compromised financially right now, you would be a fool to, when things resume, go back to working under the same pretenses. So what I'm saying is, as we go forward, we're going to see more unions. We're going to see more of a approach towards the people at the bottom acquiring more power or authority and creating more of a structure for themselves. Hence, a rebuilding of the system. Okay? So then, we've had a lot of this has got crazy while Mars has been in Capricorn. And the nature of Mars is, action. So Mars has just come through from squaring the nodes to conjuncting with Jupiter and now Pluto, and his job is not done. Okay? It is the continuing of this reconstruction. This is why so this is a time of loss. Mars is adding more energy towards that loss. Okay? So we seeing the Olympics now going to be shut down. That's more structures of power, losing the things that they covet. Okay? So understand that everyone's affected here. Right? Now Jupiter here, what we'll see going forward, Jupiter is the saving grace. It's always blessings. So whether we really get some stimulus packages, put in place, or with Jupiter's transit of Capricorn here, we're going to see the wisdom behind what we need to do to acquire more power within these systems of power. Okay? More changes within the government. So that's why I'm trying to tell people, don't worry too much, but rather focus on what you need to do to improve. All right? Now, then we look towards Neptune in Pisces, which is very much so sextile a lot of this Capricorn energy. And this is the key thing where we can look at it as like spirit, nature is like chill out, relax, come isolate. This is the 12th house aspect everyone's been talking about, the isolation. Neptune's like, I'm giving you a chance to step away from the material world and to realign yourself with your spirituality, to become more grounded, to embrace your imagination and your inner dreams. Remember, sextiles are an aspect of harmony. So the energy, you're having more energy to put towards that. Hence why I ask people, have you felt more grounded during this time? Of course you're going to feel more grounded. Because as much as we rely on the material world, it is a burden. It eats up our energy. And right now we're at a period of rest. So Neptune sextile, this Capricorn energy, is telling us to just do that. Get back into alignment. Okay? But, like I said earlier, it's about compassion. It's about being compassionate. I hate to see people arguing at this time. I really do. Or pushing whatever their ideologies and dogmas are on others. Allow your truth to be your truth. And internalize that and allow that to lead you towards your greater fulfillment. And others will do theirs. This isn't a time to try to logically figure out, is this real? Is, whatever, what's next? No. Take time to build yourself up. Okay? So avoid the spirit of being argumentative or dogmatic. That's going away from becoming more enlightened and grounded. It's wasting energy. Oh. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is Chiron. Chiron in Aries. And we're coming off of a new moon in Aries in which the sun and moon is conjunct this Chiron. And they're both squaring the lunar nodes. Exactly. So with this being the first moon cycle of this year, this astrological year, and very much so the first moon cycle in this full quarantine, it's about establishing new pathways towards healing the self. So looking at the South Node in Capricorn, it speaks once again to doing away with the old systems and ways of doing things, making money, okay, giving the power away to a government or a particular authority. And it speaks about the building of the self. So if you've been in a financial bind because of this thing, you really got to reevaluate your entrepreneurial spirit. And like I said before, this is spirit allowing you to reconnect with your dreams, your inner self. The material world, it'll drain you. It'll take you away from that particular self. And then when we go and look at the North Node in Cancer, that's about healing emotionally, healing yourself through your emotions, getting more in line with your divine feminine, which you know, I also feel like this is just a time to get back into nature, get back into understanding of what really makes you happy, healing things in regards to your family. This will also be a time where overall we're going to see that we can't do things alone. We all need one another. And most importantly, the creating of a new foundation, because the old foundation is crumbling. So it's just really a time where, like I said, things don't make logical sense. And the more logic you try to inject into this, the more conspiracy theories and arguing of what's what, the further away from the overall truth of how to get through this time or why this is occurring. You'll move away from that. So I just really look at it as a time to be humble, go within, meditate, allow yourself to take advantage of the time. Because this could be over next week, it could be over in 2 weeks. All right, but what will you have said you were able to do with this time? So imagine you're worrying now, and then it's over, and you go back to worrying. There was no reset. There was no reconfiguration. Also, I want you to, if you don't know, like later in this year, Mars is going to go retrograde in its own sign of Aries, which I believe is further going to stimulate the rebellion, the reformation, that Saturn in Aquarius energy. Okay, so really seek to start finding your tribe. Align yourself with something that you are passionate about and fight for more rights and for more power. But more importantly, think, how can I get a little bit more power in my life? Alright, y'all? So this is my interpretation or my astrological perspective of how these astrological energies reflect the state of everything going on right now. Feel free to chime in. Let me know what you think. Share this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do so now. Readings, I'm open for readings. If you need one, holla at me. Till next time, peace.